Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, onto the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail, hail. The talk of the town right now in Scottish football circles isn't just about tactics. It's about the unbelievable possibility that Celtic have pulled off the transfer scoop of the century by bringing in none other than Mohamed Salah to Parkhead. Fans across Glasgow are buzzing, whispering in pubs, on forums, and through late-night messages that Salah, the Egyptian king who's lit up Anfield for years, is packing his bags and settling in green and white. Imagine the scenes: Salah cutting inside Faye the right flank, shifting the ball onto his lethal left foot, and smashing goals in at Celtic Park like he's done across Europe. It's not just a signing, it's a global statement. The same player who's terrorized defenders in the Champions League, the lad who brought Liverpool a Premier League title and lifted the Champions League trophy, could be Callan Paradise his new home. Rumors are flying that this move isn't just about football. It's about Salah's desire to embrace a new challenge, to step into a cauldron of passion that only Celtic can provide, where every match feels like a final and every roar Faye the stands carries legends. Supporters can't help but dream about what Salah could mean for the boys in green. It's no exaggeration to say his arrival would change the very fabric of Scottish football. Picture the domestic league, where Celtic already dominate but Rangers keep pushing, suddenly witnessing the arrival of a world superstar who's still at the peak of his powers. Defenders who have faced him in England and Europe will warn, there's nae space, nae moment to relax when Salah's lurking on the wing. And for Scottish defenders, many of whom have never had to deal with a player of his caliber week in, week out, it could be a nightmare scenario. But for Celtic fans, it's pure joy, the sort of dream they've whispered about for decades but rarely dared to believe. The club's identity has always been tied to its passionate supporters, its history of talking on the giants of Europe, and Salah would embody that spirit like few before. In every corner of the city, folk are askin. Could this really be happening? Could Salah walk OOT onto that pitch in the hoops and become part of Celtic folklore? What makes this whisper even more tantalizing is the way the story has surfaced. It wasn't through an official statement or a polished PR announcement, but through the kind of quiet leaks and chatter that always seem to catch fire when there's something massive in the works. A few eagle-eyed fans claim they spotted Salah's representatives meeting with figures close to the club. Others swear they've seen hints on social media that point to Glasgow. The rumor mill has nae chill, and it's churning at full tilt. Liverpool, of course, are acting coy, refusing to comment beyond the usual lines of respect and admiration for Salah. Yet, the silence only feeds the flames. Why would a player of Salah's stature leave Anfield for Scotland? Folk ask. But if you know Celtic, you can it's nae just a club, it's a religion, and sometimes footballers crave that level of belonging. Salah's faith, his passion, his hunger for the game, could align perfectly with the ethos at Celtic Park. It wouldn't just be a transfer, it would be a marriage of legend and legacy, with the potential to rewrite the landscape of the Scottish game forever. There's also the financial side of things, and that's where the speculation gets even juicier. How could Celtic, a club that's never had the spending power of the English giants, pull off a move of this magnitude? Well, the whispers suggest there's big backing involved, with sponsorships, endorsements, and even global partnerships lined up to make it happen. Salah's name carries weight not just in footballing circles, but in markets across the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. For Celtic, who have always wanted to expand their brand worldwide, this could be the golden ticket. Imagine the shirts flying off the shelves, the stadium tours jam-packed with Salah fans, the global television audience tuning in just to watch him play in Scotland. Financially, it's risky, but the rewards could be beyond imagination. It's nae just about signing a player to win matches. It's about signing an icon to transform a club's future. And Celtic, why their proud history and massive support base, are the perfect stage for such a spectacle. If Salah does step OOT at Celtic Park, it'll be the kind of coup that makes the world stop and take notice. Of course, Rangers fans are really quiet in all this. The blue side of Glasgow is already mocking the rumors, saying it's fantasy, a fairy tale cooked up to keep Celtic supporters excited. But deep down, even they'll be thinking, what if? What if Sulla actually turns up in the Scottish Premiership? It would force Rangers to respond, to raise their own game, to chase players of higher caliber just to keep pace. The old firm, already one of the fiercest rivalries in world football, would explode to even greater heights with Sulla involved. Picture the derbies, Sulla up against Rangers' backline, the roar of Ibrox against the thunder of Celtic Park, the whole world tuning in just to witness the drama. It's a dream for broadcasters, a nightmare for defenders, and a spectacle for fans everywhere. And whether ye wear green and white or blue and white, there's nae denying it would elevate the Scottish game to levels unseen in decades. The rivalry has always been legendary, but Sulla's arrival could cement it as the most-watched derby on the planet. But beyond the banter and the Braggian rights, there's the pure footballing joy to consider. Sulla playing in Scotland wouldn't just be about Celtic or Rangers, it would be about the entire league lifting its standard. Smaller clubs, who usually struggle for global attention, would suddenly find their matches broadcast worldwide just because Sulla's on the park. Young players across the nation would get the chance to watch a true professional, a role model, ply his trade up close. The ripple effect could be massive. Better sponsorships for clubs, more investment in infrastructure, and an overall boost to the Scottish game. And for Sulla, it wouldn't be a step down, but a new chapter in a career that's already legendary. He'd be bringing his star power to a place that values passion above all else. And in return, he'd receive the kind of adoration that only Celtic Park can provide. It's nae wonder the rumors spreading like wildfire, because deep down, everybody wants to see it happen, even if they didn't want to admit it. The thought of Sulla swapping Anfield's red for Celtic's green and white hoops continues to stir imaginations, sparking endless debates about tactics, style, and sheer spectacle. How would Brendan Rodgers use him? Would Sulla line up on the right flank as always, cutting inside to unleash his trademark curlers, or would Rodgers tweak the system to maximize his influence across the front line? Imagine Sulla linking up White Gogo, the Japanese talisman, or Providence service to the likes of O'Reilly Storman through midfield. The synergy could be explosive, turning Celtic nae just domestic favorites, but serious contenders on the European stage. Again, for years, fans have yearned to relive the glory days of Lisbon Lions and the famous run to Seville, and Sulla could be the catalyst. With him, the idea of Celtic reaching the Champions League knockouts, maybe even further, doesn't seem like wild fantasy anymore. Instead, it feels tantalizingly within reach, as if paradise itself is ready to rise to the occasion. The mix of Sulla's world-class ability and Celtic's undying spirit could create something magical, the kind of fairy tale the football world wouldn't forget in a hurry. The whispers also suggest that Sulla himself is intrigued by the emotional pull Celtic offer. While Liverpool's been home, and Anfield a stage where he's achieved greatness, there's always a sense that new challenges keep the fire burning. For a man who's carried the hopes of a nation like Egypt on his shoulders, the idea of embracing a fanbase that lives and breathes every touch of the ball might be irresistible. Celtic fans have always prided themselves on creating one of the most electric atmospheres in world football, a place where legends are made, nay just bought. Sulla, a man of faith, humility, and fierce determination, could find that Celtic Park resonates why him on a deeper level than money or glamour ever could. It's the promise of being part of something bigger, something eternal, that pulls players to paradise. If the rumors are true, then maybe Sulla sees Celtic as the next chapter in a story that's already filled with glory, heartbreak, and triumph. And that's why these whispers refuse to fade away, because they feel rooted in something more than just fantasy. They feel like destiny taking shape. Meanwhile, Liverpool supporters are torn, struggling to process the possibility of life without their Egyptian king. For them, Sulla's nae just a goal scorer. He's a symbol of the club's resurgence, a hero who brought back the glories they craved for decades. The thought of him leaving Anfield, especially to play in Scotland, feels surreal, almost too bizarre to contemplate. Some dismiss it outright as nonsense, saying Sulla's legacy is tied to Liverpool forever, that he'd never walk away while still in his prime. Others, though, are cautious, acknowledging that football's full of surprises, and players do seek new adventures. even when it seems unthinkable. The emotional tug-of-war is palpable, why fans writing heartfelt tributes online, begging him to stay, while also bracing for the heartbreak of goodbye. For Liverpool, replacing Salah would be a monumental task, because players like him didn't just come around every transfer window. His pace, his precision, his aura, they're irreplaceable. And so the possibility of him heading north to Glasgow feels like salt in the wound, as if the football gods are testing their devotion once again. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Across Europe, pundits and analysts are watching closely, wondering if this isn't just idle gossip, but the start of a seismic shift in footballing dynamics. Salah moving to Celtic would challenge the narrative that the biggest stars must always gravitate to England, Spain, or Italy. It would be a declaration that Scottish football, when backed by passion and history, can still attract global icons. The media frenzy would be relentless, with every photo of Salah scrutinized, every cryptic post dissected. The Scottish Premiership, often overshadowed in world football discussions, would be thrust center stage, demanding attention and respect. The prospect of Salah lighting up Celtic Park in Champions League nights, backed by the deafening Green Brigade, would be pure cinema. Suddenly, conversations about Europe's elite competitions wouldn't exclude Celtic, but rather embrace them as a serious contender again. The ripple effect could shift how clubs outside the so-called top 5 leagues are viewed. Provi, it looks like I've hit the word limit for this message. For Celtic supporters, the daydreams are getting wilder by the hour, because the image of Salah in the hoops isn't just about football, it's about identity and pride. Imagine the global spotlight shifting to Parkhead every weekend, the streets of Glasgow buzzing with tourists and fans from Egypt, Africa, and beyond, all desperate to see their hero play in green and white. The pubs would be rammed, the chants would evolve, and the merchandise would vanish from the shelves faster than ever before. For the young Celtic fans, growing up seeing a genuine world-class superstar in their colors, it would be transformational. The club has always been a beacon of community, a place where stories transcend generations, and Salah's arrival would carve a new chapter that parents would proudly tell their kids. The idea of him scoring in a Champions League night against Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, why the Paradise crowd roaring in ecstasy, would be the stuff of legends. And even if the rumors remain just that, the excitement they've sparked proves something crucial. Celtic's name still carries weight, and the dream of attracting a Salah-level player isn't as far-fetched as it once seemed. At the same time, critics argue that the story feels too fantastical, too dreamlike to ever materialize. But that's the beauty of football gossip. It lives in that space between hope and reality. Some say Salah's wages would cripple Celtic structure. Others claim Liverpool would never sanction a move to Scotland, and a few dismiss it as clickbait designed to stir emotions. Yet, history has shown football thrives on the unexpected, and stranger things have happened. The Lisbon Lions, once written off, conquered Europe. Henrik Larsson, once underestimated, became a Celtic legend. So why could Salah no be the next improbable tale? The uncertainty is what makes the rumor intoxicating, and the lack of official denial only fuels belief. If there's even a sliver of truth to the whispers, then Celtic fans are justified in dreaming big, because football isn't built on logic alone, it's built on moments that defy explanation. And whether Salah steps on a Celtic park or not, this saga has already reminded the world why the hoops inspire such unshakable devotion and eternal hope. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.